this. Okay. We're making progress in spiritual life. We're going live on YouTube and giving the floor to Damodar Priya Devi Dasi, who's giving class today. She knows what to do. Damodar Priya, the floor is yours. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
It would help if I unmuted myself, so that's good. I know what to do. I'll mute myself. So, Hare Krishna and good morning, dear devotees. Thank you again, Ananda Vihari Prabhu, for another opportunity to give class. And before we get started, I just want to ask all the devotees on Zoom, everywhere they may be, I humbly ask for your blessings so that I may speak in this class in a way that glorifies God and inspires myself and others to serve Radha and Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, the all-pervaded personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Okay, so let's share the screen so that you can see the verse and we can read it together. Vrishya Shirasi Padam Ped Nyaham Chatukare Anunaya Vidushate Vyatya Dautyer Mukunda Swakritai Havrishta Patya Patyanya Loka Vyashriyada Krita Chitta Kimnu Sandhyayasmin. And that's, we're reading Canto 10, Chapter 47, verse 16. And since we only have the one verse, we'll do the synonyms and the translation. So Vrishya, let go of, Shirasi, on your head, Padam, my foot, Ved me, no, Aham, I, Chatu Karaihi, with flattering words, Anunaya, in the art of conciliation, Vidushaha, who are expert, Te, of you, Abhyatya, having learned, Dautyahi, by acting as a messenger, Mukundat, from Krishna, Swa, for his own, Krite, sake, Iha, in this life, Vis Rishta, who have abandoned, Apatya, children, Pati, husbands, Anya Loka, and everyone else, Vyashrityat, he abandoned, Akrita Chitaha, ungrateful, Kimnu, why indeed, Sandeyam, should I make reconciliation, Asmin, with him. And then we have the translation and purport. Keep your head off my feet. So again, this is Radharani speaking to the bee. I know what you're doing. You expertly learned diplomacy from Mukunda, and now you come as his messenger with flattering words. But he abandoned those who, for his sake alone, gave up their children, husbands, and all other relations. He's simply ungrateful. Why should I make up with him now? And the purport? According to Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti, this verse illustrates the qualities of Sanyalpa, as described by Srila Rupa Goswami in the following verse of his Ujjvala Nilamani 14.190. Saluntaya gahanaya kayapyakshepa mudraya tasya kritanyata dyautihi sanjalpa katito buddhaihi. The learned describes Sanjalpa as that speech which decries with deep irony and insulting gestures the beloved's ungratefulness, and so on. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti points out that the word adi, and so on, implies the perception in one's lover of hard-heartedness, of an inimical attitude, and of a complete lack of love. So we'll stop sharing. Notes back. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Shakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto them. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine. Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Prashadine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata. I offer my respectful obeisance unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna on this earth, having taken shelter of his lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. And today, since we will be speaking about Radharani, and today that's really who's speaking right now in this verses. I also wanted to add the prayer to Radharani, and that goes, Tapta Kancha Nagorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I offer my obeisance to Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas and all the others in the line of devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Krishna, oh Radha, please engage me in your service. My friends, here we are. So these are the points that I want to talk about today in today's class. I want to glorify the bee, glorify Radharani, and glorify a disciple of Srila Prabhupada on their birthday today. Okay, disclaimer. Why did I pick these points? Well, this verse and those around it are part of the Brahmara Gita, or Radharani's song to the bumblebee, as Madan Gopal Das Prabhu explained to us so beautifully on Saturday. And these verses speak of very intense feelings of separation and loving rebuke from Radharani for her dearest Krishna. And this is in a mood of the topmost transcendental ecstasy, right? He explained to us on the Mahabhava. So presently, I do not feel qualified to further dive into this Mahabhava mood. We've heard from the last two speakers on Sunday and on Saturday very beautifully about this. So I feel like they've covered it. However, I do feel qualified to glorify the servant of Radharani and Krishna, which is the bee. And I feel like I can glorify Radharani, whom we all hope to serve. And of course, I would hope that I can glorify the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who are the servants of the servants of the servants, so on, of Radha and Krishna. Okay. So that's my disclaimer. Hopefully everybody understands. Okay, so first we're going to start with glorifying the bee. So the bee. Why am I going to do that? Well, as I said, the Brahmara Gita is the song of the bee. Radharani is speaking the whole time. That's from verses 12 to 20. She's speaking to the bumblebee, right? So let's glorify the bee with some shastra, with some sacred literature. So on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 13, verse 36, there's a beautiful conversation that is going on between Prahlad Maharaj and a saintly person. And this is being shared by Narada Muni. And the saint in that conversation says, "From the bumblebee, I have learned to be unattached to accumulating money. For although money is as good as honey, anyone can kill its owner and take it away." So what's our lesson there? First of all, let's not be attached to money. That's very clear. But also not being attached to material things. Because as the sage says, he's saying anyone can kill and take it away. But even if nobody kills you, you're still going to die, right? So there's that lesson of not being attached to material things, because death will come and we will be kind of parted from those material things. So why be so attached to them? So that's one lesson from the bee in Shastra. And then we have in Canto 10, chapter 15, text 6, Krishna is speaking to Balaram, and Krishna says, "O original personality, these bees must all be great sages and most elevated devotees of yours, for they are worshiping you by following you along the path and chanting your glory." which are themselves a holy place for the entire world. Though you have disguised yourself within this forest, O sinless one, they refuse to abandon you, their worshipful Lord. So what do we learn about why are we glorifying the bee with this verse? Because here the bees are the most elevated devotees of Balaram and so on to Krishna, right? And they follow him along. And what do they do when they follow him? They're chanting his glories. So a lesson there. Let's follow the Lord. Let's chant his glories. And then as another backup to that, right, to kind of support that, we have in Canto 3, chapter 15, verse 18, there's a beautiful description of Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. And in it, it says, when the king of the bees hums in a high pitch, singing the glories of the Lord, there is a temporary lull. The transcendental birds stop their own singing simply to hear the glories of the Lord. How beautiful is that? Wow. So in the spiritual world, the king of the bees, and we can safely assume all the other bees as well, but when the king of the bees hums so beautifully, singing the glories of the Lord, everybody else stops just to hear him because he's singing so beautifully the glories of the Lord. So again, we have the lesson from the bee as we're glorifying the bee. Let's sing the glories of the Lord. So yes, these are the bees in the spiritual world, but just like how the material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, there's sometimes little nuggets. So we can just kind of take that as like when we see a bee, we can think about the bees in the spiritual world singing the glories of the Lord, right? So that's our little hook. And then we have in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, and that's chapter 2, verse 2. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, for this reason, people from all parts of the world must call for the devotees of the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are compared to bees humming around his lotus feet in transcendental pleasure, searching for honey. So how beautiful is that? That comparison that Srila Prabhupada gives of comparing the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to bees who are humming around, searching for the honey of his lotus feet. So how can we be like those bees that Srila Prabhupada is describing? How can we be always attracted to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya? How beautiful is that? I don't know about you, but I just love that analogy. And I just love that hopefully every time we see a bee, we can think about that. And then there's some beautiful anecdote that I found of Srila Prabhupada. He was on a morning walk in Mayapur in 1976. And he was talking to the devotees and he was saying, just like the flies, they're finding out where is the sore. And the bees, they're finding out where there is the honey. So two animals, they have got two business, fault finding and collecting the good things. Now, why do I share that? Because Prabhupada is using this beautiful example of the bees and the flies. He's telling us, flies, they're always looking for what's sore. They're always looking for like the excrement, right? Like the disgusting thing. So that's the fault finding. But bees, they're always looking for what's sweet, for the honey. So that's always looking for the good things. So we want to be like the bee. We want to see the good in others. Look for the bee. Be all the bee you can be. Yes, Paul, thank you for writing that in the chat. Yeah, so we want to look for the good in others. And I've actually seen this example also used by Rukmini Walker Prabhu when kind of teaching me to seek the essence in the teachings of bhakti, right? So don't get stuck in the details. So look for what's good, not what's bad. So be like the bee. And then I have, of course, some Krishna-related bee trivia for all of you. Has anybody ever heard of the name Rolambi for Krishna? Does anybody know what that is? You can write it in the chat if you do. I won't take too long because I don't want to like keep you in anticipation for too long. But Rolambi is actually a name for Krishna, which means he is like the bee. So that's Rolambi for those that like to kind of write that note down. How beautiful is that? And why is he referred to as he is like a bee? Because he is attracted to Radha's lotus heart and lotus face. So that's actually found in the Sri Gopala Sahasranama, which is the 1,000 names of Sri Gopala, or Lord Krishna. And it's a prayer that Lord Shiva shares with Parvati. And again, I like to quote like exactly where I got things in case anybody wants to find it later. So that's verses 16, 40, and 65 have that name of Krishna. So how beautiful is that? So when we see a bee, we can think of Rolambi, the name of Krishna, where he is like a bee. And why? Because he's attracted to Radha's lotus heart and face. How neat is that? And then in a kind of mundane glorification, but not really, in this material world, bees can also be glorified because the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, he states that there's 100 crop species that provide 90% of the food around the world. And 71 of those species are pollinated by bees. How wonderful is Krishna that he has given this great service to the souls that live in bee bodies on this earth? Like, seriously, how wonderful is that? And what can we take from that? How can we help these little servants of Krishna who are trying to, help make food for all the people and all the animals on this earth? So we can plant flowers to offer to the deities and also leave some for the bees. And when you see bees around you, maybe you could chant the Maha Mantra to them, right? Or you can sing the glories of the Lord. And also just remind yourself, like, wow, these bees, there's like bees in the spiritual world who are chanting the glories of the Lord. So again, to recap on the glorification of the bee, let's learn from the bee not to be attached to money or material things, to follow the Lord and chant his glories, to be attracted to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, who again, remember, is Sri Krishna and the mood of Radharani. So that combo there, beautiful. Look for the good and the sweet, not just the bad. Seek the essence of bhakti and be like Rolambi, Sri Krishna, attracted to Radharani and serving her. And let's help the bees in their service by taking care of them and singing to them the glories of the Lord, right? So hopefully you'll see some bees. I know it's really cold in New York, so you might not see some bees, but when you do see them, just think of these things. Okay, so let's go on to glorify Radharani. And we don't have that much time. And I know that this is going to be very kind of short because there's so much to say about glorifying Radharani. So why are we glorifying her? Well, she's the greatest love and servant of Krishna, right? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this verse, the one that we're reading today, the 16, and then also all the verses from 12 to 20 are all about her and her ecstatic love for Krishna, right? So let's circle back to that prayer that I said in the beginning. And that's a prayer that Prabhupada shared with us in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavan Eshvari, Rishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of Krim Vrishabhanu, and most importantly, this is my little addition, you are very dear to Lord Krishna, right? So for us, who is most dear? Those that are most dear to Krishna. So let's glorify Radharani with some Shastra, right? Some sacred literature. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 4.83, Srila Prabhupada shared that the transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Sri Krishna. She is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune, and she possesses all the attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. So how attractive is she? Radharani is so attractive that she attracts the all-attractive. Wow. And she's also the primeval internal potency of the Lord, right? So she's so amazing. I can't. And then also in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela as well, but in 4.214, Srila Prabhupada says, among the gopis, Srimati Radhika is the foremost. She surpasses all in beauty, in good qualities, in good fortune, and above all, in love. Love is what's most important. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most exalted. She is the most beautiful, the most qualified, and above all, the greatest lover of Krishna. So she's so beautiful. She has all these amazing qualities, but what's the most amazing part of her is that she is the one that loves Krishna the most and is best at it. Just love is always going to conquer all, right? So I also wanted to share, and hopefully you'll be able to see it, even I have the blur on. Yes. So this beautiful book, it's called The Glories and Pastimes of Srimati Radharani. And I can always put it in the link in the chat when we're doing our loving exchanges. And it's by Bhakti Purushottama Swami. So if you really want to dive in, this is just an hors d'oeuvre of glorification of Srimati Radharani. But if you want to dive into this book, I heartily recommend it. It has so much in it that I was going through it and I was just like, I can't share it all. So I wanted to share the book in case you want to kind of go into it more. But in that book, I had heard this song before, but I hadn't made the connection. And I'm sure a lot of you already know this song. But in this book, there's a song called Sri Radhika Stava by Srila Rupa Goswami. And I can't sing it very well. Well, enough to do it justice, that's for sure. So I'm just going to briefly play the song by sharing my screen. And I can only play a little bit because apparently if you play songs for too long, YouTube will be very upset because of copyright issues. So just keep that in mind for future classes, anybody. Don't play a song for too long. So here we go. Okay.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Dharuni Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Dharuni Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Dharuni Mandala Mahite Damodara Rati Varadara Veshe Hari Nishkuta Binda Vipineshe Damodara Rati Varadara Veshe Hari Nishkuta Binda Vipineshe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Dharuni Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Dharuni Mandala Mahite.
I'm so sorry to tear everybody away from that beautiful song. But like I said, I don't want to have the copyright issues from sharing for too long. So yes, how beautiful was that? Please write in the chat, have you heard this song before? And I think I had heard it before, and I had never made the connection that it was singing about Radha, I guess because I hadn't read the translation. So that version that I shared was sung by Ramya Devidasi. And again, I could put the link to that in the chat later on if anybody wants to hear the whole thing. And yeah, that's true. That's true, Amrita Kishore. Maybe it's because it's been a different rendition of it. You're right, like a different tune that we've heard. But I particularly like that one. So yeah. So I wanted to share the translation because it's only a refrain and 3 verses. So it's very short, but it's so simple and so sweet and powerful. And it goes, O Radha, O beloved of Madhava, O you who are worshipped by all the young girls of Gokula, O glories unto you, O glories unto you. You who dress yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodara's love and attachment for you. O Queen of Vrindavan, which is the pleasure grove of Lord Hari. O new moon that has arisen from the ocean of Kiran Vishabhanu. O friend of Lalita. O you who make Vishaka loyal to you due to your wonderful qualities of friendliness, kindness, and faithfulness to Krishna. O you who are filled with compassion, O you whose divine characteristics are described by the great sages Sanaka and Sanatana. O Radha, please be merciful to me. So yes, there's so many different versions of this song, and I made a playlist, and I can always share that with, like I said, in the chat later on. But it was so beautiful, such a beautiful song. And I actually had heard somebody when Paul and I went to the Bhaktivedanta Institute here in Gainesville, and somebody, her name is Bhaktin Christina Kelly. She actually works at the Krishna House here in Gainesville, and she made a version of it where she translated it into English so that you can sing it with the rhythm of the song. But again, I don't know if I can do it justice. I'll try, but I don't know if I can do it justice. It goes, Jaya, O Radha, glorious beloved of Madhava, Gokula's maidens, oh worship your name in love. O Radha, glorious beloved of Madhava, Gokula's maidens, or worship your name in love. Your dress enticing, Damodara's passion, Vrindavan's queen is surely Lord Hari's obsession. Your dress enticing, Damodara's passion, Vrindavan's queen is surely Lord Hari's obsession. O Radha, glorious beloved of Madhava, Gokula's maidens, oh worship your name in love. O Radha, glorious beloved of Madhava, Gokula's maidens, oh worship your name in love. A bright moon rising in a palace royal, your friends Lalita and Vishaka ever loyal. A bright moon rising in a palace royal, your friends Lalita and Vishaka ever loyal. I'll just skip to the next verse and not do the refrain again, just so you can hear it. And it goes, your great compassion, the sages all praise. O Radha, send your transcendental mercy my way. Your great compassion, the sages all praise. O Radha, send your transcendental mercy my way. And then it goes on to sing the refrain and the thing. So again, please, I apologize. I did not sing that as beautifully as Bhaktin Christina Kelly did when I heard it, but I just always love the idea of being able to sing the English in the tune of the Sanskrit so that we can kind of understand, for those of us that English is our first language or second language, but that we're more attuned to English so that we can understand what we're saying and we can get into the mood of it. So I just wanted to share that with you. And then the last thing that I want to
Can you put the lyrics in the chat?
Oh, yeah. I'll put the lyrics in the chat.
It's so cool, Damodar Priya.
It's super cool, right? Yeah. See, I knew at least one person would appreciate that. So those are the lyrics in the chat.
Oh no, Mike is appreciating. Everybody's appreciating.
And then I'll also put the link to the person who wrote it, because I always like to give accreditation to everyone, and that's why I always say I got this from verse this and that, because I think it's really important for people. I know I get very excited when people share things, so I want to know where they got it and I want to follow kind of along or look into it further. So for the last thing I want to do, my friends, and thank you for humoring me this far, I definitely want to leave time for our reflections, is that, as I said, I wanted my third point today to be glorifying a Srila Prabhupada disciple on their birthday today. And that is Rukmini Devi Dasi, Rukmini Walker Prabhu, Jai! So I'm going to make this brief because I know that if I spend too much time, she's going to be embarrassed and not happy. So thank you, Rukmini Walker Prabhu, for showing me what a disciple is like and for spreading the love and compassion of your spiritual teacher, Srila Prabhupada. You are a force of change, a catalyst for women's spiritual empowerment, and an ambassador of interfaith dialogue. So I'll end it at that before I get in trouble. But I also want to, in glorifying Srimati Radharani, and also with a side into Rukmini Walker Prabhu, she wrote a really beautiful prayer to Srimati Radharani that I wanted to end the class with because it's so beautiful. And it goes like this. My dear, most worshipful Srimati Radharani, you are the most beloved pleasure potency of Lord Sri Krishna. You are the fountainhead of all goddesses of fortune. You are the divine feminine counter whole to his supreme divine masculinity. The dance of love between you both is worshipped as the center of all existence. Lord Sri Krishna is the one who bewilders Cupid, the one who bewilders the entire world, and yet you bewilder Lord Sri Krishna with your purest and most selfless divine love. Lord Sri Krishna freely gives himself to those who take shelter of you. You are dearer to him than his own life. You are a mine of the most precious jewels of ecstatic love for him. And you are the one that can bestow this pure love upon us all. Oh, my goddess, oh, my queen, please hear my prayer. I am drowning in an ocean of forgetfulness. Please place me in the sturdy boat of your mercy and ferry me across to the wonderful realm of your lotus feet. And then for those of you who haven't heard Rukmini Prabhu say that herself, I put the link in the chat so you can see it. So I'll finish with, how can we be more like the bee? How can we learn from Radharani and serve her more? What are your takeaways, questions, comments, and corrections? And Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay.
What a wonderful class, Damodar Priya Devidasi. It's such a joy to see you enjoying Krishna consciousness and diving into it so deeply, and sharing that with us. Thank you. Thank you. So many verses, so esoteric, such an esoteric subject. And it may seem intimidating to speak on those subjects, but you did a great job covering everything nicely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're like my big brother in Krishna consciousness, always supporting me.
I'm your servant. I'm your servant, unworthy servant. Okay.
So,
any questions, reflections, dear devotees? It's the time.
Would love to hear from anyone and everyone. Did anybody already know these things about the bees? Are you going to look at bees differently now? I know some people usually are scared of bees, but now hopefully you'll think of Krishna. And I'll write the name of Krishna in the chat. Rolam bee. He is like the bee. Oh, Bhima Prabhu.
Haribol, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's your enthusiasm and your childlike excitement that is very inspiring. It is, just to listen to you. It's accepted not only as the fact that you're quoting and you're referring to other acharyas and authorities, but the fact that the tone of your voice, it's accepted at face value that you truly are enjoying this absorption that you have in all these aspects of Krishna's Leela. That's what's wonderful about Krishna's Leela, that it's so dynamically variegated. I was just reading something today. I can't remember. Somebody knows the Sanskrit. I'm not going to try to reach for it. But it's everything that happens in the material world is just a reflection of everything that happens in the spiritual world. So I have lovely fruit trees, and every spring, many honeybees gather among the blossoms. And I will actually go out in the morning and chant underneath the fruit tree, especially my weeping cherry. Because there's literally, and I'm not exaggerating, probably somewhere close to 200 to 300 honeybees going after the blossoms. I don't know if you mentioned it, but one of the aspects of a honeybee is that he never sits still on one blossom. So that is Krishna's. That's a attribute of Krishna that is not so dear to Radharani. That Krishna is always flitting about from flower blossom to flower blossom, just like a bee. There's a saying, and this could be used for devotees, and I'll end it here. I could ramble on forever about just this wonderful, when you're involved on a farm, you depend on the bees to pollinate. your fruit trees, what to speak of your flowers. And you see them at work, and you see them with the pollen gathering about their knees, their bees' knees. And they're just so cute how they fly, wavering back and forth, bumbling. That's how bumblebees got their thing. They sort of bumbled from flower to flower. Those aren't honeybees. Honeybees are much more astute at flowering. But the, uh, the buzzing of all of them at once when I sit and chant underneath the tree it reminded me of in New Vrindavan when in the mornings we would go down, and this was back when there were 700 people living, and everybody was very much excited, very much enthusiastic at attending the morning program. So you'd have sometimes 100 to 150 people in the morning, and they would show up for japa. And of course, you'd have all these devotees chanting Japa Hari. And then you'd have Prabhupada over the speaker, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then you've got 150 people chanting at once with Prabhupada over the speaker. And it is very much like a wonderful blossoming tree of devotees, busy as bees at the work of pollinating the souls of the world, of spreading the wonderful sweet fruit of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Haribo! Thank you so much, dear Bhima Prabhu, our poet. I was hoping that someone would bring up that example of devotees when they're chanting japa. When you have a lot of devotees in the room chanting japa, it sounds like bees buzzing in the most beautiful way. And I also wanted to share, Sharmila wrote in the chat, which is really sweet. She wrote, be thankful, be positive, and most of all, be kind. Hare Krishna. I love a good pun, so I really appreciate that, Sharmila Prabhu. I love a good pun.
Be thankful, be positive, be Ma Prabhu.
Does anybody else have any reflections or questions? I mean, I don't know if I can answer any questions.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you, Damodar Priya Devidasi Prabhu, elaborate on Radharani's compassionate nature? How does that work, that we attain Krishna by first submitting ourselves to Radharani? How do we attract her compassion?
How do we attract her compassion? I mean, she's just compassionate, as like one of the verses that I quoted from Chaitanya Charitamrita that Srila Prabhupada said, that's just her state of being, is being compassionate. And she loves Krishna so much. And again, I don't have anything to quote on this, but I've heard it in other classes, speakers say that she loves Krishna so much that she wants what makes Krishna happy. And if she thinks that what makes Krishna happy is us and us serving Krishna, then she's going to put us in front of Krishna and say, no, Krishna, like, this is the best devotee for you, or let them serve you. They're so much better than me. Like, that's how compassionate she is, that she'll put others in front of her because all she's thinking about is her love for Krishna. Right. So, I mean, I'm not a parent. Well, I'm a parent to like little dog babies, but not the same as like a human parent, and at least in this life. And so you would understand a lot of that as well. And those of you who have human children, when you love them so much, you're already full of compassion for them because you're thinking of what is best for them. How can I best serve my children? How can I bring them, to Krishna? How can I just make them into, honest human beings who can serve the Lord the best? So you're already in that compassionate state when you're thinking of those you love with love. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's just my way of explaining.
I like the point that you made, that Radharani is compassionate because she loves Krishna. Mm-hmm. She's not compassionate because of weakness of the heart or our fallen condition. She is compassionate because she loves Krishna and she wants to make him happy. I really like that point.
And we see that too in in disciples of Srila Prabhupada who are very compassionate. That I feel like that compassion is coming from their extreme love of Krishna, and then they see Krishna in the hearts of all the living beings that they come in contact with, right? So it just naturally emanates that compassion from them, right? Because like think of it, if you actually thought of who you come in contact and like could see that Krishna's in their heart, and not only see that, but also remember, and I know that my dear sister Leela Devitasi Prabhu spoke about this, how much Krishna loves them, right? Like really let that sink in. How much does Krishna love this person in front of me? Your heart would hurt just trying to handle that. And then you would naturally want to be compassionate to that person. So
Thank you. Adipusha Prabhu, you wanted to say something?
Hi, Krishna. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Much, you gave away your secret. Now we know why you're giving such a sweet class with such joy. It says you are what you eat. So your diet of what you're hearing and what the nectar that you're looking for, you're like a bumblebee, drinking in all this nectar from all this wonderful literature and descriptions of Radharani. And we've been talking about, throughout this canto, the different ways that people are absorbed in Krishna. Kamsa was absorbed in killing Krishna. Kubja was absorbed in enjoying with Krishna. And then the gopis are absorbed in pleasing Krishna. And yesterday, Adigadarapu gave this incredible class, and then he wound up saying that, remember where he landed? He was saying that everyone, we actually aspire to improve and increase our service. So Radharani's desire to please Krishna is very intense, it's constant, it's very sweet. And how would you improve on that? And you just spoke about it just now, that Krishna says, what pleases me most? No one is more dear to me than one who shares this message with others, one who offers others opportunity for devotional service. So Radharani's compassion is attracted like that. Krishna's pleasure is attracted like that when we try to give Krishna consciousness to others. So the gopis were absorbed in trying to please Krishna, and then they realized that the thing Krishna loves the most is when we're trying to give him to others. So, I mean, all we can say after a class like yours is, you said it, girl, you said it. We're just reflecting a little bit of the sweet nectar you shared with us.
I should have muted myself. I'm so sorry.
Oh, praise to Srila Prabhupada. You said it, girl. Sometimes you go to these congregations and the pastor is speaking and everybody goes, that's right, you said it, that's the one, yep.
I love
Right.
that. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Adi Purusha Prabhu. Yeah, let's find the joy in it. Oh goodness, Krishna, this world is full of so many opportunities for us to find what's negative. But I saw briefly that Kartik Prabhu wrote something in the chat, and I was, if I stopped, I was going to lose my train of thought, so I didn't want to read it at that point. But Kartik Prabhu also wrote, flies can humble us too by honing in on where our hearts need cleaning. So that's a really lovely way to glorify the fly as well, Kartik Prabhu. Thank you so much. That, yeah, just like we want to be like the bee to look for what's sweet and the essence and what's good, but we also want to think about, like, flies are going to what's dirty. So maybe we can think, when we see a fly and it's flying to something dirty, we could be like, oh, wow, so what's in my heart that's dirty, that needs cleaning? How can I clean out my heart for Radha and Krishna? So that's lovely. Thank you so much, Kartik Prabhu, for writing that down. I really
That's super lovely. Kartik Prabhu, wow, you're an unconventional thinker. Kartik,
I appreciate
Lord of
that.
the Flies, Kartik Prabhu.
It's 8 o'clock. Do we have time for Bhima Prabhu, who has his hand raised, or are we about to have darshan? Oh, I can't stay too long past darshan because I actually have to go to work at 8:30, 8:20 actually. But he put his hand down. Oh, he doesn't want to say. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say thank you again, and all glories to all the devotees, and especially if you know Rukmini Prabhu, please reach out and give her a happy birthday, a Krishna conscious birthday, and maybe sing her Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you.
Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Paul Prabhu and Damodar Priya Prabhu ki jai, Srimati Radharani ki jai, bees and flies ki jai, everybody on this call ki jai. Okay, Russian time, cameras on, if you can, please.